You have the opportunity to help someone realize their goals, achieve their dreams, reach their true potential after all, and change a future for good. HomeWORK, the way to work. Imagine you've lost everything. You're using again. You're homeless, living on the streets, in the woods, or at a shelter, and living with a hidden disability. And then one day, you find a place to call home. You find supportive housing. It's safe and affordable and dependable. So it's not just a place to live, but a foundation on which to build a life. Once homeless or at risk for homelessness, today, many supportive housing tenants work, go to school, and are pursuing their dreams, like everyone else. And now they have a life, like everyone else. All because a case manager could see that supportive housing is not the end, but just the beginning to a tenant's future. All because a case manager looked more deeply to see the potential that each tenant holds and connected with HomeWORK, a one-of-a-kind program that helps supportive housing tenants enter and advance in the workforce. HomeWORK provides access to education, resource, and employment opportunities. How does HomeWORK work? It works by collaboration, starting with the collaboration between tenant and case manager. Working together with supportive housing programs, HomeWORK offers tools, information, and support to help your tenant succeed. We bring best practices training to case managers, provide leverage with the local workforce, and give you answers, like the one every tenant wants to know. How does work affect my benefits? All of which suggests that quality of life is achievable for every supportive housing tenant, and HomeWORK can help your tenant get there. You're about to meet some folks who are living proof that productive employment can change a future for good. Imagine that. Terrance and Jay. Terrance McInnes, a supportive housing tenant, is a survivor.
In 2003, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. Spent a considerable amount of time in the hospital. Upon coming out of the hospital, I worked with my doctors to learn how to manage myself with my medications that I had to start taking in order to allow me to get better and to try to strive to become more healthier and live like a normal life.
Congestive heart failure can rob you of stamina.
I have regained my mobility.
It can rob you of your independence.
Back at work now, and I have 6,000 steps in my day at my job. I am a custodian, work for the Department of Transportation of Connecticut.
According to Jay LaChouse, Terrance's case manager at Mercy Housing and Shelter, you need to look at the person, not just the condition.
People can have a variety of health issues coupled with other concerns that can affect them in very different ways. And again, each person is an individual, and that's important because a person may have a health condition, they might seem very well, but they may not present like they have a health concern. It could be masked. They could look really dressed well, and there could be a very subtle thing like, for example, something simple as treatment, which may not be evident. So you never know. You just never know.
How did Terrance triumph?
First have the will to want to do good, and then the proper tools given to you, or the tools that you know you have to utilize them.
Sometimes all you need is a little push, and HomeWORK can help.
BRS, Bureau of Rehabilitation Services, they work with you to try to find out what's good for you with your work, what you're able to do, what you're comfortable doing. They try to find out your level of tolerance, and they really want you to be a success story. My new news is I'm going to be driving trucks. At the end of this month here, I will be starting a program with the All-State Training Facility, and I'll be doing on-the-job training, driving 3 hours a day. I got that through working with BRS.
Terrance recently earned his commercial driver's license. Jay collaborated with HomeWORK to help Terrance obtain letters of reference, a prerequisite for the CDL. That was
one thing we were able to do in one concrete way, and tangible way, and it's just the fact that you're there to offer support and in a tangible way that manifests to people in the larger community, that you're standing up for this person.
The road ahead is promising. especially when you have the support of a case manager like Jay.
The greatest thing that I can offer is an open mind, because each person is different and each person is an individual.
Jay is more of a friend. He is my case manager, but he's my buddy. Me and him, we laugh a lot, and he is a calm guy, so, he never gets excited. So everything coming from Jay is like a smooth flow. I use his wisdom, I use his assistance and everything, and that I'm comfortable with him, so I think that makes it more reasonable when he deals with me, that he feels comfortable that it's making an impact.
What does it take?
You don't get to know a person all at once. It's over a period of time that you really come to know someone and their story unfolds. Because every day you see one part of that, one facet. Like, I'm a person that has many different facets, and no one can possibly get to know me in 1 hour. It takes time. So why should a client be any different?
In the end, we all want the same thing in life, to live it.
The biggest thing is that you gotta want to live. You gotta want to just survive.
Bonnie and Muriel. Bonnie Beck is a woman who does what she has to do. So when she was homeless, she took it upon herself to find a place to live.
I was out there when it was raining, snowing, sleet and rain, anything. I was out there. But, I just had to do what I had to do for myself. And if it was just living out in the woods and keeping sanity, yes, I did it. Mm-hmm.
How did Bonnie stay clean and sober while living in the woods and battling depression?
What kept me sane was a lot of reading and my schooling. I don't know if it was just a tool thing, but it kept me going a lot. I love school anyway.
Thanks to the support of employment facilitator Muriel Tomer, Bonnie has a new lease on life.
I'm just seeing her feel more comfortable with herself, being at Cedar Hill in her own apartment, maintaining her goals and going to school and struggling with it and just keeping on all the time until she gets it done. So for her, I guess the biggest change I've seen is that the rough spots are starting to really level out and everything's going smoother.
Bonnie and Muriel make a good team.
I was in her office almost every day.
Which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Every day. I mean, she could be doing tons of work. I can't talk to you now. I said, yes, you can. Hello. And I will pop out, kind of thing. So
it was easy for Muriel to stand in Bonnie's shoes. Muriel is a suicide survivor. At one time, she was also homeless and living in her car.
Things happen to everybody. I mean, her situation, my situation, it's just both our situations is the same, but a little different. That's it. And I'm very proud of her that she, came out of it. And she's here today with me, so she can help me now.
HomeWORK provided a structure.
It has helped me help Bonnie as well as other case managers in pretty profound ways. It's forced me to go out and take the knowledge that I already had, find new knowledge that I needed, commingle them together, and be able to then share that with other people in a way that they can understand it and that it's documented and there's a structure to it.
HomeWORK is a grassroots approach to opportunity.
There are several groups of employment specialists, people in the business community that have different facilitated groups that meet monthly or biweekly. They have many different names. The purpose of the groups seem to be that people get together and share everything they know about the job market on that day. These jobs are available. Here's who you can call. It's very concrete, it's very effective, and we all brainstorm and share that information, and then we pass it out to our larger communities, hoping that we can get all these folks the jobs that they want.
Muriel encouraged Bonnie to chase her dream. Now Bonnie is working on a Bachelor's of Science degree in Criminal and Social Justice at Ashford University online. Muriel, a pioneer in online learning, is the perfect mentor.
You need to do this, then you need to do this, then you need to do this, and then we'll get it to work.
How's it working?
Actually, I'm doing very well. I get A's and B's.
The secret to Bonnie's comeback?
The most important thing is definitely school. That is definitely one thing I do almost every day. I don't know, I'm just one of those nerdy kind of persons now that I like school all the time. I wasn't like this all the time either, so.
Sometime soon we'll have her having a master's degree. You watch.
No.
Esther and Margaret. Esther Ross had nothing left to lose. After losing her kids, she had just checked out.
Realized that I didn't know everything, and the way I had been doing things up to that point in my life was not working, and I just had to learn how to just trust other people and trust them basically with my life.
While battling addiction and depression, Esther found her faith and a friend.
I met Margaret while we were in a transitional home. I had already been there, and she was coming in.
Late into the night, the roommates talked about their hopes and dreams, about getting well, and one day giving back to the community.
We were able to work as colleagues, even in the midst of our changes. So we never really left each other's side, actually, in so many ways.
HomeWORK helped Esther make a fresh start.
The time that I was out of work, I was kept focused. I was going out doing presentations, networking. So I didn't have any time to be idle or get discouraged. Everyone that was involved with the project that originally started it were very supportive of me and just encouraged me. So it's definitely been a blessing to me.
Today, Esther has made a home for her children, thanks to supportive housing and a job she loves.
Catholic Charities is one of my jobs. I also work for Regional Network Recovery Programs, where I'm a counselor, crisis counselor. That's my per diem job. So I put the two jobs together and averages out to about 40 hours a week.
Margaret Jones, now an employment facilitator at Mercy Housing and Shelter, worked with Esther to develop the Speakers Bureau, part of HomeWORK's peer support outreach. It's designed to inspire tenants and case managers alike.
We have to actually take off a hat when we go in that setting and not be so much the professional, just be a peer. And that's what we're supposed to be, a peer.
When the tenants hear my background and I can relate and they look at me and they can touch and feel me, they're like, okay, you know what, it's possible, I can do this.
Sometimes Margaret takes a page from her own life story to make her point.
The reality is my trauma, I let them know that I too, I've been diagnosed with a mental illness. At one time, I was also a substance abuse individual. I'm in recovery. I was homeless, living in my van. I also was an engineer's assistant for 14 years at General Dynamics. It came to a place where I felt like my existence was unwarranted. I had no grounding. And it kind of came together one day when I was sitting, can I say this, on a beach on a cold winter day. And my mental state and my physical state came together. I realized I was homeless. You know, and there was nothing more I could do but just one way, go upward.
But neither Margaret nor Esther lingers too long in the past. After all, they have a job to do.
Once they sit down at a desk with a case manager, if that case manager listens, there's a two-way dialogue that goes on. Listen to the life of the individual, and the individual that's serving that tenant has to know that this person's life has to go in another direction, and I have the tools to do it.
You know, letting them know, you know, I'm here for you. I work for you. You know, I'm paid to be on your team. And when you tell someone that who is already at a low in their life, who has already lost a lot and given up a lot, that's empowering.
When Esther isn't working, she's studying for a degree in human services. What has she learned?
What I've learned is I'm still learning.
How do you help your tenant grow and prosper?
Listen and be present. I think that's a start.
If you're going to help people, you have to be there to do whatever it takes.
We talked about the possibilities and the capabilities and not the disabilities and the differences.
The real message should be that all people, whether you have hidden disabilities, visible disabilities, no disabilities or anything, has no limit to what you can accomplish. There's unlimited potential for everybody.
Know where your client is, know where they are, meet them where they are.
Don't ever undersell someone in your own mind thinking, well, they may want to get that master's degree, but are they really capable? You bet they are.
You're an opportunity specialist. You're not a case manager. You are the opportunity for someone's life to change.
Since its inception, HomeWORK has helped more than 100 supportive housing tenants in Connecticut find productive work. To find out more about supportive housing opportunities, please visit www.csh.org/CT-employment or call CSH at 860-560-0744. The HomeWORK Project is a partnership between the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, the Corporation for Supportive Housing, and the Department of Social Services Bureau of Rehabilitation Services. A special thanks to Terrance and Jay, Bonnie and Muriel, and Esther and Margaret for sharing their stories. You inspire all of us to find a way. HomeWORK, The Way to Work, is funded by Connectability. Copyright 2011.